Yo, what is up? Today we are going to be talking about how it's not about eating healthy, it's about calories in. Now, this is a big misconception within the whole dieting community that to lose weight, you need to eat healthy, right? That is not correct. That's not how you lose weight. It helps with losing weight for sure, but it's not like how you lose weight. And the reason why this is an issue, as much as I will be the first person to say eating healthy is better for everyone, everyone should eat healthier. And eating healthy is just the peak of eating healthier. But the reason why this becomes an issue is that if you don't really understand what causes the result, it's hard to make the result happen outside of it happening by accident. And do you really want to rely on accidents to, you know, progressing your goals? Not really. So the reason why this becomes an issue is that you'll have people who eat above their maintenance. So they eat in a surplus, but because what they're eating is healthy food, they'll think I should lose weight. Dieting doesn't work because look at me, I'm eating healthy food and I'm still getting fat. But the issue is that there's a lot of healthy things that are also still. No, sorry, that was something on my phone. Let me put on some. But like the issue with that is that if you there's a lot of like healthy foods that are still higher in calories, right? A lot of like oil, like fats and oils and stuff. They're healthy, but they're high in calories. So it's important to understand the distinction and how just because eating healthy helps with eating lower calorie doesn't mean that eating healthy is eating lower calorie. Eating lower calorie is right. So just for an explanation in case you don't understand how weight loss works, right? Weight loss, how you lose weight is calories in, calories out, being in a calorie deficit. What does that mean? Well, calories are is energy, right? That's why it's measured in kilojoules. Kcal is calories. And basically how it works is that for the human body to function, it needs energy, right? You need energy to think, you need energy to, wave your hands, you need energy to walk, you need energy to talk. The human body needs energy. But as, the one of the laws of thermodynamics states, energy can't be created nor destroyed, only transformed. So as humans, where do we get that energy from? Well, we get it from food. We get energy externally, right? Plants get their energy from the sun, photosynthesis, all that. We get our energy through eating food, right? And when you eat food, you get energy. That's why food has calories, kilojoules, right? You eat food, it helps you move, it gives you the energy to move and talk and all that. If you eat at a maintenance, you'll stay the same weight. Maintenance is how much food you need to exist, basically. How much food you need to just exist as you are is your maintenance. When you eat in a surplus, it means that you're eating more food than you need to exist. And what happens then? Right? What happens when you eat in a surplus? Well, as humans, historically speaking, we'd go through periods of famine, right? Periods where there's just no food, no energy to ingest. And as a safety gauge, I guess, to keep us from just dying out during those periods of just no energy coming in, our bodies developed the ability to store fats, store energy, right? So when we were in periods where there was food, the tactic, the strategy was to eat more than we needed to eat to exist and store fat upon ourselves so that when the time came for the famine, we'd have energy stored up on in ourselves. We wouldn't need energy to come in externally because there was no energy coming in externally. We'd have the internal energy that we've already saved from when there was external energy, right? And that would keep us alive for longer than if we just didn't have that, right? So that's what fat is. Fat is just stored energy. And what happens when you're dieting, in order to lose fat, you need to put yourself in a situation where you're eating less than you need to survive. And your body, since it has all these fat storages, will take from the stored energy to help you exist as you are, right? That's how losing fat works. You use the energy. That's why things like doing cardio helps with weight loss, because you're using more energy throughout the day. Therefore, your body needs to take more energy from from the energy that you've stored, right? So why is this important? Why did I just yap to you about calories and calories out and what it means? Well, basically, it means that it isn't you eating healthy that is helping you. It's you eating in a calorie deficit that will make you lose weight. Therefore, you can still gain weight when eating healthy, right? There's lots of foods that are high calorie and but they're healthy. So people will confuse that in their mind with because it's healthy, it's high calorie, right? Like nuts. Nuts are healthy, right? They're healthy fats, they're good for you. But the issue with them is that they're high calorie in comparison to how much volume you get. So you can eat a lot of nuts and you might think in your mind, oh, I'm eating nuts, therefore it's healthy, therefore I should still be losing weight. But it's like, no, the amount of nuts that you're eating plus the other food that you'll also eat means that you're now in a surplus, so you'll actually gain weight. Or you're at maintenance, so you'll stay the same. And you're thinking, but I'm eating healthy, therefore I should lose weight. But no, if you're eating healthy, but you're still eating in a surplus, you will gain weight. If you're eating healthy, still in a maintenance, you will stay the same weight. You need to be in a deficit to lose weight. But the issue is that people mix it up with being healthy. The thing is, being healthy helps, right? Because most healthy foods are lower calories, right? Things like lettuce. Lettuce is just like things filled with water, right? Very low calories. Tomatoes filled with water, very low calories. Cucumber, low calorie. Most vegetables low calorie. Chickens low calorie. Like most meats are low calorie. It's only really the red meats where it can kind of get higher, but you can lower it by removing the fat that's there and stuff. Like there's a lot of most healthy foods are much lower calories than the foods that aren't healthy, right? Part of it's by design. Like a lot of healthy foods just tend to have more sugar, and sugar is one of the higher calorie things. So yeah, that's it. Just like eating healthy doesn't equate to eating in a deficit. Eating in a deficit equates to eating in a deficit, and eating healthy can help you be in a deficit, but it doesn't guarantee that you're in the deficit. That's why I recommend tracking. If you're not tracking your food, you don't. If you're not tracking what you eat, then you don't know what you eat. You're just guessing what you eat. And the issue with guessing what you eat is that if the preconceptions of what you're guessing on are wrong, which most people's conceptions tend to be, if it's wrong, then you just won't make any progress, and then you'll blame the diet. But the diet isn't the issue. You are the issue. You don't know how the diet works. You don't know why the diet works, so you don't use its rules correctly. You just break the rules because you don't know them. You don't break them because you know what's going on and you can still make it work even outside of the rules. You just break them and you fail because you don't know how it works. You don't know why it works. So yeah, thanks for watching the video. I hope it helped. I hope it educated you a bit on how this whole weight losing thing works. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you want to say something, leave a comment. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Share with your friends, your grandma, your chicken, your pet iguana, your pet stegosaurus. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.